Welcome back to Real Geek Media. We have a small topic we want to discuss with everybody. I'm Hayden Stoll. He's author Christopher Michael Blake. We want to talk real quick. The Hunt for Ben Solo. Christopher, you saw this?
I saw the article and I saw that Disney, this is the first time a script has been written in the Star Wars universe that was not picked up by Disney. And I have some thoughts about this, Hayden. And I mean, people are flying planes over New York City with banners and they're posting all kinds of electronic messages, and the fans they want Ben Solo.
I find it, the killing thing with this is it's Steven Soderbergh, who is a very accomplished director. And it's the most interesting character from the sequel series was Adam Driver's Ben Solo character.
No, I disagree.
And
I disagree wholeheartedly. It wasn't Ben Solo that was the most popular character. It was Kylo Ren.
Right.
Kylo Ren was. And the minute you separate the two and you say Kylo Ren,
let's get into that.
Ben Solo. Hold on, I'm not done. And the minute you separate the two, nobody wants to see Ben Solo. They want to see Kylo Ren. And if you brought Kylo Ren back for his own feature movie, I would be on board for this. Ben Solo, boring. I got no why.
Well, here's the thing, right? Disney can't get off the ground this Rey sequel movie. It just can't get off the ground, right? But here you have a finished script, an Academy Award-winning director, Adam Driver, who is the best actor in the entire sequel series. Whether you feel that way about Ben Solo as a character, we didn't see him in that version of the character very much, but there's something to that. And I think it's an interesting story about him either being on the run or how he returns or how he comes back and what that story is and how it plays out. But that's interesting. And I think there's enough there that the fandom clearly would respond to this.
Look, if you have Darth Maul coming back and Emperor Palpatine resurrecting, and you can bring back anybody you want, basically.
Right.
You can bring back Ben Solo. I agree.
Of course.
However, I thought Adam Driver was actually very annoying. He seemed to cry an awful lot. That was just he's throwing temper tantrums all over the place. For me, he just wasn't a very compelling character. I'm going to go one step further. You ready for the absurd?
Go ahead.
Don't give me the Ben Solo, Return of Ben Solo, Kylo Ren movie. Bring back The Apprentice, Manny Jacinto movie.
Oh, God.
That's what I want. I don't want the Apprentice. I don't want.
Oh, God.
I don't want that whole. I don't want the Acolyte. You can save the Divergents and all that other stuff and the witches and the twins and take them all out of it. Manny Jacinto was good as The Apprentice. Right, I can admit that. I can admit that.
Yeah. He was the best part of that show.
He was amazing. He carried that show. Him and the guy from Squid Games, they carried that show. They made a terrible script viable and semi-watchable. The lightsaber stuff in that TV show just dwarfed anything that was done in any of those sequel, prequel movies. And let's face it, the lightsaber duel where he's taking out all the pledgelings or whatever, the young Jedi, was far better than the last three movies. Give me that movie. I can see why you wouldn't greenlight Ben Solo.
I don't see why they wouldn't do it. But here's the other problem too, right? In addition to the Ben Solo one, we heard that David Fincher also approached Disney with a Star Wars, idea.
What was
to
that?
Which, I mean, I don't think there was a finished script in his version, but he pitched a post-sequel movie with Star Wars. Now, David Fincher I think he was one of the assistant cameramen on Return of the Jedi. So this is a man who's was in it, with George Lucas, and a smaller, it was a camera person, right? But David Fincher is another very accomplished director. Like, what are we doing? Like Disney, what are we doing? Like, these are directors who have a track record. They make great films. I just don't understand. Like, they continue to make slop, and like there hasn't been a movie released since Rise of Skywalker, which was like 2019.
Thankfully, I mean, look, that was
But
terrible.
but this is the problem. They've gone all in on TV shows that have watered the product down and watered the product down and watered the product down. Star Wars needs to be in the theater, and there needs to be hype behind it. But they killed all of that, and they release these shows, and we have the Mandalorian movie, which I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited Star Wars is back in the theater, but has the ship sailed with the Mandalorian series? Is it worn out its welcome? Man, I would love to see a Ben Solo movie because it's going to continue the story, right? And that's what Star Wars is, a saga. It continues the story, right? We're seeing, like, I would be interested in seeing a Rey movie, but, like, that thing's been through the ringer of writers and directors, and I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day. And how do you not, like, people will line up to see this movie. It's Star Wars. You're going to make a ton of money. You can market the crap out of it. You can sell all the action figures. But what are we doing?
The problem I have is this. I can't argue with what you just said. A majority of it, for me, it rings true. They have watered down this product. How much of it is the Kathleen Kennedy effect, where there's not enough females, there's not enough diversity, there's not enough, we got to bring in biopic individuals? I don't know. However, I stand firm with what I said. I am not intrigued by Ben Solo. I am intrigued by Kylo Ren. If you brought Kylo Ren back and made the story about Kylo Ren picking up the New Order, and I'm there.
I think there's a lot to tell, though, because we did not see very much of Ben Solo. And the whole movie could be he still feels the call to the dark side, even though he was redeemed at the end of Rise of Skywalker. He can still have that. I mean, in his situation, let's just say he physically comes back, right? And it gets wind of, he's out there. You don't think he's going to be the most hunted person in the galaxy? That's interesting. Even though he is redeemed, I mean, he's got to live looking over his shoulder. Like, that's interesting. I don't know. I think there's a story to tell there, and I think it's a swing and a miss from Disney.
For me, I would rather see the apprentice Manny Jacinto actually going on his own journey, not dealing with these witches, not dealing with the twins, not dealing with any of that nonsense. Let me see what his adventures, his character kind of goes on. Does he go on assassinations? What is he kind of up to? What is this, his master kind of directing him to do? What is the overall plot for him? He should have been the focus and the star of that movie, not the twins.
Yeah,
he should have been.
I think the problem with that character is that series is so polarizing. I don't think they could touch any of those characters in the film version of anything. It's just too much of a ticking time bomb. They could allocate $400 million budget and put together something real fancy looking, but The Apprentice was such a polarizing show that I just don't think they could do it. I really don't. And as interesting as that character is, I think I would be interested to see, okay, another adventure with that character, sure, but I just don't think they could do it. I think it's too much of a risk. at least with the Ben Solo character, this is a character that has been in the motion picture and in 3 movies, as a lead, and enough equity built around the character that they can do something with a very good actor behind it. Not to say that Jacinto was good. He was very good too, but I think that show is just too toxic to touch again.
I don't disagree with you on that part.
It would be interesting to see it though. Yeah.
But that's just, I don't want to drag this on for too long. Final thoughts. Ben Solo, you're saying yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Let's make this film Disney.
Green lighted.
Give me a $200 million budget. You're gonna make the movie back, because if it goes $200 million, they're gonna spend $200 million in advertising.
I'll tell you what, Soderbergh, he can make that movie for like $150 million. I don't know what Disney's thinking. I really don't. They'll throw him $300 million because it's Disney, but he could do it with less than that. I don't know, man. To me, it's a no-brainer, but I don't know. I say yes. I say do it.
You may have talked me into at least being intrigued by the idea of a Ben Solo redemption arc and being hunted. And you could probably even tie the Mandalorian in there somewhere, trying to catch him.
I mean, if he's still alive, this is.
I know it's. Yeah. I mean, it's years and years ahead,
but it gives them an opportunity for story that they have been stagnant on in that time period. That post sequel series, there hasn't been anything, right? There hasn't been anything, and we've gotten the Mandalorian, which is post Return of the Jedi, before any of the sequel series start. So I say yes, man. Like, I say yes, and do Fincher's movie too. Get some real accomplished directors behind this thing.
I don't think it's the directors that are the problem.
No, I don't either. I think it's more with the mandate from the boss. But.
Oh, sure. Ben Solo again. I still think Adam Driver's a little annoying. I thought if I'm going to see that movie, it's because I want to see Kylo Ren tear some shit up, not Ben Solo. If you told me that he has to kind of work in between both characters, and every now and then he has to pull Kylo Ren out to whoop some ass,
that'd be interesting.
And having him sit there, and the same way he was looking at Vader's mask.
Yeah.
In part 7.
Listen, there's something
where he's looking at the Kylo Ren mask, and he's sitting there. I really don't want to put this thing on, but the dark side does call, and puts it on.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Let's go.
That would intrigue me as to why he needs to do that.
You could do a trilogy, and by the end, he falls back to the dark side. Yeah,
or finds his way to the light. That's the redemption arc. You don't want to totally just.
We saw his redemption arc. Let's see him go bad again. But
that redemption arcs. No offense, that was just.
Listen, Rise of Skywalker was nothing to write home about.
The last 2 movies weren't anything to write home anything about.
Right. But
I actually liked 7. And then
too.
For me, it was, that moment they say jump the shark. For me, it was the Mary Poppins.
Oh, that was so bad.
When Leia, Mary Poppins, the ship blows up, and then Mary Poppins with the force field, and I was like I'm sitting in the theater, like I did not just see that. And
no.
Disney went with it and gaslit me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it would be a step in winning back your fan base too.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Ben Solo, yay or nay? Do you want to see that film? Let us know. We'll let Disney know. Let's make it happen.